If you're wondering which VR headsets for gaming are worth your money, stick around. After we run through each product, I'll give you my personal take. Would I buy it or would I skip it? No fluff, just my honest opinion. Let's get into it. Bigscreen Beyond, this tiny 127-gram headset packs a punch with its 2560x 2560 pixels per eye and custom-fitted design that eliminates light leakage, but good luck sharing it with anyone since it's literally molded to your face. The visuals are fantastic with deep blacks and sharp colors, though you'll have to deal with some annoying lens glare in a smaller field of view. Plus, you're always tethered to your PC like it's 2016. Would I buy it? No, I'm not dropping $1,000 on a headset I can't even let my friends try. Microsoft HoloLens 2. Microsoft's $3,500 enterprise darling rocks a 52-degree field of view and impressive hand tracking, but you'll feel like you're looking through a floating window while fighting rainbow effects in the lenses. The eye and hand tracking are fantastic for work stuff, but with only 2-3 hours of battery life and being sensitive to bright light, you won't be gaming on this thing anytime soon. Would I buy it? No, unless I'm a corporation with deep pockets looking to train employees in mixed reality. Apple Vision Pro. Apple's $3,500 face computer delivers incredible visuals with its micro OLED displays and scary good hand tracking, but wearing this thing makes you look like you're ready to be plugged into the Matrix. The pass-through is amazing in good lighting, but gets noisy in the dark, and that external battery pack feels like dragging an anchor from the past. Would I buy it? Maybe, if I want the best visual fidelity and don't mind looking like a cyborg while bankrupting myself. Valve Index. The Index still rocks with its 144 Hz refresh rate and 130-degree field of view that makes other headsets feel like you're looking through a toilet paper roll. The audio is fantastic, and the finger tracking controllers are amazing, though you'll need to deal with those annoying base stations and a cable that follows you around like a clingy ex. Would I buy it? Yes, it's expensive, but delivers the most complete gaming experience with the best controllers in virtual reality. MetaQuest Pro. The Pro packs a Snapdragon XR2 Plus processor that's 50% more powerful than Quest 2 with 12 GB of RAM and cool eye tracking tech, but damn that one. 2-hour battery life will have you running to the charger faster than you can say metaverse. The color pass-through cameras are decent for mixed reality, but the image is grainy, and your hands jiggle around like you've had too much coffee. Plus, at this price point, you could buy a decent used car. Would I buy it? No. While the tech is impressive, the short battery life and high price make it hard to justify for gaming when better options exist. Oculus Rift S. Setting up this bad boy is easier than making a sandwich. Just plug in one cable and draw your boundary and you're ready to punch your TV in VR. The tracking works great, and it has access to both Oculus and Steam VR games, though switching between them can be more annoying than backseat gaming. Would I buy it? No, it's discontinued now, which means no replacement parts when something breaks, and it's known as the most finicky headset Oculus ever made. HTC Vive Pro 2. This beast rocks a 5K resolution at 120 Hz that'll make your eyeballs sing, but you'll need a beefy PC and the patience of a saint to set up all those base stations and cables. The visuals are incredible when you get the sweet spot right, but it pumps out more heat than a gaming laptop in summer, and your glasses will fog up faster than a bathroom mirror. Would I buy it? Maybe don't. If you're a VR enthusiast with deep pockets and don't mind the setup hassle, the visual quality is unmatched. MetaQuest 3. The new kid on the block comes with color pass-through that actually works, and the pancake lenses make everything clearer than your ex's reasons for leaving. Performance is solid with the new Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 chip, though the 2-3-hour battery life means you'll still be friends with your charger. Would I buy it? Yes, it's the most accessible and impressive standalone VR headset right now, offering great value without needing a fancy PC setup. MetaQuest 2, the best bang for your buck in virtual reality gaming with a crisp 1832 x 1920 pixels per eye display and great wireless freedom that lets you play anywhere without tripping over cables. The battery life is pretty disappointing at less than 3 hours, and that comfortable looking white design gets dirty faster than my ex's reputation. The game library is massive though. You can play everything from Beat Saber to VR table tennis, and even use it as a PC VR headset if you're feeling fancy. Would I buy it? Yes, it's the cheapest way to get into proper VR gaming without selling a kidney. PlayStation VR 2. This thing is a visual powerhouse with its 4K OLED display and fancy eye tracking that makes games look better where you're actually looking. The controllers are great, but apparently designed for baby hands, and being tethered to the PlayStation 5 means you're basically wearing an expensive leash. The haptic feedback in the headset is wild. Playing Jurassic World makes your whole face vibrate when a T-Rex walks by, which is both awesome and slightly terrifying. Would I buy it? Maybe, if you already own a PlayStation 5 and don't mind being tied down. Dell Visor. This ancient relic from 2017 actually has some decent specs with its 1440 x 1440 resolution per eye, and the flip-up visor design is pretty neat for when you need to check if your house is on fire. The tracking isn't great though, and the content library is about as empty as a politician's promises. At least it's comfortable to wear, which is nice, considering you'll spend most of your time trying to find something to actually play on it. Would I buy it? No, it's basically a museum piece at this point. HTC Vive XR Elite. The mixed reality features on this bad boy are actually impressive, with crystal clear pass-through that lets you see the real world without taking off the headset. The battery only lasts 2 hours and the controllers feel cheaper than gas station sushi. For the price of this thing, you could buy 3 MetaQuest 2S and still have money left for therapy after your bank account recovers. Would I buy it? No, unless you enjoy burning money for warmth. Varjo Aero. The visuals on this thing are so crisp it makes other headsets look like you're gaming through a potato. We're talking 2880 x 2720 per eye, with mini LED displays that'll make your eyeballs dance with joy. The automatic IPD adjustment and eye tracking are neat, but damn, you need a beefy RTX 3070 just to run this beast, and AMD users are completely out of luck. Plus, they had the audacity to not include controllers or base stations at the $2,000 price point. That's like selling a car without wheels and calling it a feature. Would I buy it? No, I'm not made of money and I like having food in my fridge. Lenovo Mirage Solo. This standalone headset is like that friend who's good at one thing but terrible at everything else. It's got decent 6 degrees of freedom tracking and a sharp 2560 x 1440 display, but the battery barely lasts 2.5 hours, and the controller tracking is as basic as a 2008 flip phone. The worst part? You can't even properly connect it to a PC to transfer files, which is just plain stupid for a device made in this century. Would I buy it? No, there are better ways to experience virtual reality than this lonely island of limitations. Pimax Crystal. This headset is trying so hard to be the king of VR with its insane 2880 x 2880 resolution per eye and crystal clear visuals that'll make you forget what real life looks like, but man, the setup process is like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. You'll spend half your time troubleshooting random bugs and waiting for updates. The standalone mode is about as useful as a chocolate teapot with barely any games available. Would I buy it? Maybe. If you're a sim racing enthusiast with the patience of a saint and deep pockets. HP Reverb G2. Now this is what happens when you make a VR headset that actually makes sense. 2160 x 2160 resolution that makes text look crisp as hell, and it won't require you to sell a kidney to buy it. Sure, the tracking isn't perfect and sometimes your virtual hands might decide to go on vacation, but for the price, this thing is like finding a golden ticket in your chocolate bar. Would I buy it? Yes, it's the sweet spot between price and performance, and I like having both my kidneys. Pico 4. Look, I get it. You want better specs than the Quest 2 at a cheaper price. Well, this headset delivers with its crisp 2160 x 2160 pixels per eye resolution, pancake lenses that reduce distortion, and a comfortable 586 gram weight that won't break your neck. The tracking works great and the controllers feel nice, but damn, that software library is more barren than my bank account after buying VR gear. Would I buy it? Maybe, if you don't mind missing out on some games, the hardware is actually pretty sweet for the price. Samsung Odyssey Plus. This chunky boy might be older than some YouTubers, but it's still rocking those sweet AMOLED displays with 2880 x 1600 resolution and anti-screen door effect that makes everything look smooth as butter. The built-in AKG headphones are about as impressive as gas station earbuds, but at least you don't have to deal with separate audio gear, and the tracking works surprisingly well for an ancient Windows mixed reality device. Would I buy it? No, while the display is still fantastic, the age is showing and newer headsets offer better features overall. Acer OJO 500. Okay, who thought naming a VR headset OJO was a good idea? This thing tries to be business-friendly with its detachable design and washable head strap, but the maximum IPD of 65mm means if your eyes are set wider apart, you're screwed. The resolution is decent at 2880 x 1440 pixels total, but the tracking can be as unreliable as my ex's promises. Would I buy it? No, there are better options available now that won't make you feel like you're beta testing someone's science project. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you pick the VR headsets for gaming for you. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Links to all of these products mentioned in this video will be in the description.